What's going on, everybody? How you doing? In today's video, we are starting the first giveaway series, and we will be giving away thanks to Dave, two of these Alex Lifeson Hentor Sportscaster guitars. Mini figurine guitars. Comes with a little stand. You just see a bag. You don't know what's in here. There's a stand in here. It looks just like this one, right? It stands up by itself with the stand, right? Going to be giving away two of these. How do you enter? Since there's going to be two giveaways, because I also have the basses, the Getty basses to give away, I need you to do this exactly. I need you to email me at jpanreadsemail@gmail.com. I need the subject to say blah blah blah, and I need your name and I need your email address in the body of the email. So that means it could just be, you know, if it were me submitting Justin P, just first name, last initial, and then email address, jpanreadsemail@gmail.com. And that's it. Blah, 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 which is going to tell me you want the guitar and your name and an email address. So this video is coming out. This is the first video of this series. I didn't even tell you what the series is yet. You don't care about that. You care about this. You care about the giveaway. It's a 5-video series, so we're starting on today's the 19th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we end on the 23rd. On the 24th, that's Sunday, the morning video, 8:30 video, will be the giveaway results video. We're not going to have a regular like rush video. I'm just going to do the giveaway results announcement right there. And then on the 25th, I'm going to start a new series. I think I'm probably going to break it up. I'm probably going to do the Last Hurrah Time Stand Still documentary at that point, just to break it up. Anyways, so what does that mean? That means that you have 5 days starting right now to email me and enter this contest, because on the 23rd at night, I'm going to make the video. Make sure you submit, right? Email me right now. Stop what you're doing. Open another window. Get your email. Blah, blah, blah. Name, email address. Cool? All right. And it's not functioning. Somebody asked me, it's not functioning. It's just like a mantelpiece, like a figurine kind of thing. But it's super cool. And also it's the freaking Hentor. You know, the story behind this, if you haven't heard or know about it, which I didn't know about it until I got it, and then I got into it. It's in the video. I did an unboxing video, and I went into it because that's like why I think it's so cool, frankly, because of the story behind it. Anyways, what are we watching? What's the series? A lot of people were sending me this pretty recent Alex Lifeson interview with Foo Fighters' Chris Shiflett, where they break down the haunting solo on Rush's Limelight. And they talk about a whole bunch of, they talk about Alex and a whole bunch of other stuff. So I broke it down into 5 videos, and we're going to check them out. I think it's time to get into the first video. If you're new here, please subscribe. Check out my videos, all kinds of videos, reaction videos, bass videos, music videos. Check it out. If you like the channel, all kinds of ways to support the channel. You can hit super thanks underneath this video. You can hit me direct in the description. I got PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, Amazon wishlist, mailing address, and I do donation requests. So all that information is in the description below. Thank you guys. All right, let's check out part 1 of this. Chris Shiflett interviewing Alex Lifeson and some guitar playing. Limelight solo. All right, here we go. Bam.
So when I was about 10 years old, my older brother Scott brought home a record by a band that I had never heard of called Rush. And that record was called Moving Pictures, which seems kind of ridiculous now because it's such a classic. But at the time, it was like sonically and stylistically a little bit of a departure from, most of the stuff that was dominating our turntable at that time, like Kiss, Black Sabbath, Aerosmith, those kind of bands. Now, this was, of course, the Guitar Hero era. And all of a sudden, we had ourselves a brand new hero named Alex Lifeson, which is why he was one of the first people I reached out to when I started trying to line up guests for the show. And with so many great solos in his catalog, it was hard to pick just one, but we did. We're going to focus on the lead from Limelight, which does exactly what a great solo should do. It's a scene change, it's kind of emotional, it builds, and yes, it shreds. Now, on a side note, let Alex Lifeson be a guiding light for all potential Shred with Shifty future guests. Because although I'd met him a few times here and there over the years, I never had any direct communication with him. Like, we weren't text pals or anything like that. But when I reached out to him to see if he would come on the show, he immediately responded with, sure, exclamation point. I'd love to. There was no talk to my publicist, talk to my manager. There's no hemming and hawing, just easy breezy. Because not only is Alex Lifeson a rock legend and an incredible guitar player, but he is just a great dude, as you're going to see right here in this interview. So let's get to it. This is Alex Lifeson on Shred with Shifty. Alex, thank you so much for doing this.
It is my great pleasure to be here.
It's much more my pleasure, believe me.
No, I think it's more mine.
Where are you right now? Because that looks like either an incredibly well-organized man cave or you're at like Rush World headquarters or something.
So I'm a Virgo. So this is my den. This is the studio that I built in my apartment. And as you can see, the guitars and all my analog stuff on the side here, Neve preamps.
Alex is a
bunch
renter?
of compressors and a bunch of amps. So it's a really, really great room. We're on the 24th floor. We have a great view of the city. That's very inspiring working in here.
Amazing.
Like, yeah,
See,
I have
thought
a chalet,
that you had auctioned
and
off
I have
all
an
your
apartment in the city.
Guitar collection, but it looks like, and I can't tell what's what exactly in the background there, but that looks like some good stuff.
You know, I had 63 guitars in the auction. I think 5 came back. I thought I must have a few guitars lying around. My son has a studio. I know I had stuff there. And then I remembered that, oh, yeah, there's a couple under the bed. There's one in that closet. Oh, I still have 8 in storage at the warehouse.
Under the box of kimonos.
Yeah, exactly. And I know I have, I don't know, 20 or 30 guitars left here.
Nice.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, buddy, I'm a little nervous doing this interview today, and not so much because, I mean, don't get me wrong, you're a huge influence of mine and a legend, but I was more thinking about it last night as I was getting ready for this. I was thinking about your fans. Rush fans, because I posted some stuff on my social media that I was going to interview you to, because I like to take some fan questions. And your fans are a different breed. They're hardcore, obsessive, know all the details type of fans. And I was like, the pressure's on, man. If I screw this up, I'm going to get like, raked over the coals on Twitter for sure.
Yeah, we were really fortunate. Somehow we connected with our fans in such a way that they became quite dedicated to the band, and always interested in what we were doing, always opinionated on what we were doing, what they liked and what they didn't like. And it was a really strong relationship that we've always had right from the very beginning. So, and I mean, your fans are amazing as well, and not too dissimilar, although you have many more. But
I don't know about that.
I don't know.
I don't know, sir. Yeah,
I've been to some of your shows.
You said it was like that from the beginning. Do you feel like, I mean, obviously you picked up a lot of new fans along the way, but do you feel like over the course of your guys' career, like, were there still people coming to Rush shows, like, in the 2000s that had been there in the 70s?
Sure.
I think there was a certain attraction to the band in the 70s up until about Moving Pictures. I think a lot of our European fans, especially in the UK, were probably more a part of that earlier generation. And I'm not sure that
because they were like recording over there,
carried on. There was that sword and sorcery kind of period that we were in.
Sword and sorcery.
And we've gone through different levels of fandom over the years. I think later on in the early 2000s with I Love You Man, and when we had the documentary come out, it brought in a lot of fans, especially female fans. That's something that we never had. We always
that's like one of the great stereotypes of fans, is that it's just a room full of dudes.
It's
terrible.
So true. Well, I think our female fans amounted to maybe 3% of the audience in those early days. But after that movie, and especially after the documentary, and I think there was, there was a lot more of our personal character that came out in that documentary. And I think a lot of women connected, especially married women, connected to it. And we were family guys. We had kids.
Because their husbands
we married
were listening
early,
to Rush,
all
they
of
were
those sort of
forced to.
things.
And of course, your sense of humor. Like, you guys are funny. And that doesn't necessarily come across because you don't make silly, funny music. You know, it's...
No, it's pretty serious.
Yeah, you know?
I mean, there are moments, but no, it's true. Oh my God, we laughed so much over those 40 years. It was so much fun being together. And we had our rough times, you know, where we were tired and stressed, but generally we just laughed so much and just had such a great time.
Well, you talk about that period, the difference between the 70s era and moving pictures. And I think of permanent, to me, like, maybe it's because moving pictures was the latest Rush record when my brother brought that record into our house. So I think of that era, Permanent Waves, moving pictures, Signals. That's like a one chunk, you know, in my sort of nostalgic memories of your music. But like, was that, and it was a shift musically. And just music generally was changing. New wave was coming in, and just the MTV was starting to happen. All that stuff there was a kind of a big shift, you know, moving from the 70s into the 80s. Was that a conscious decision or effort on your guys' part to change your sound, or were you just sort of caught up in the zeitgeist?
You know, I think after we did Hemispheres, that was such a difficult record for us to make. And we felt like we'd really worn out the whole idea of a concept in terms of a whole side. Now, I mean, I think all our records are conceptual. Neil wrote that way. You know, he would get into a groove and basically write everything about that particular subject from all angles. But to do a true concept record like 2112 or Hemispheres, we felt like we came to the end of it. Yeah, and like you were saying, everything was changing. Music was changing. We wanted to write in a more economical way, shorter songs, but try to get the same impact and get all that stuff that we wanted to do fitted into a 4 or 5 minute package rather than an 11 or 12 minute package.
Totally. You know what's funny is because I always think of that as the early period of Rush, is like, you know, songs that are the whole side of a record and all that thing, and then the period that we're talking about is like you said, more economical, shorter songs. But then I went back and just looked. I wasn't listening to your entire catalog yesterday, but I just looked at the song lengths. And in fact, in the Permanent Waves moving picture, there's still long songs on those records. And on the early records with the really long songs, most of the songs are still like 3 minutes long or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but they were in an intact kind of
right.
Yeah, that's true. Like so many. Natural Science, I think, is 9 minutes. Xanadu's 9 or 10 minutes. Yeah, we continued writing long stuff, but it was a little more disconnected.
Who were you? What were the like up and coming guitar players at that time that were influencing your playing and your approach and your tone? I always think of like, you know, like the era that we're talking about, like Andy Summers and maybe The Edge, or people like, who were you listening to that was having an impact on what you were doing?
Well, I loved Andy Summers.
Earlier than that, right? Earlier than
tonally,
that,
it was quite unique. It was so chorusy.
They're like contemporaries.
The chordal structure and the way he took up space in those songs, in those police songs. Sting was a pretty pedestrian bass player. He wasn't flashy or anything, and he had a very round...
That's going to be the pull quote from this interview, by the way.
Yeah, damn.
In that band. Did his job, for sure.
Damn.
Very melodic, and he's a great bass player, but he wasn't too flashy. It didn't take up too much space. Sure. And I think that left more room for Andy to create a broader palette in behind, you know, a really great drummer and a really great bass player and a great vocalist. So it was a whole different context from what we were doing. Alan Holdsworth, maybe a little bit earlier, but through that period as well. He was such a fantastic lyrical player. I mean, he played like a sax player, and I know he played sax as well, but all his phrasing was like that, and his use of the vibrato arm was what really got me into using a vibrato arm. I thought, you know, I'd never heard it. It wasn't a whammy bar. It was a vibrato arm, and he would gliss between notes and phrases, and in such a way, it was stunning to listen to.
Well, there's a lot of that in the solo for Limelight that we're going to focus on today, which is why I brought this Charvel. I don't have a lot of guitars with Floyd Roses on them.
Right.
And in trying to sort of woodshed through this solo, I realized I'm terrible with the tremolo bar. You're gonna have to tune me up on this thing today. Like, I make a lot of noise with it, but it's so beautiful the way that you're sort of sliding into the notes.
Yeah, it's kind of funny with the vibrato arm. It's a very delicate appendage to the guitar. You know, I think the way I use it generally is, you know, I'll play something. So it's not so much of the...
Right. Just to give it a little sizzle.
It's just a little subtler thing, and it's a downward vibrato, so it's different from, you know, playing the typical.
Right.
Yeah, I just think it has it's more emotion.
Who were the guys that you were listening to when you first started playing that made you want to be not just a guitar player, but a lead guitar player?
A lead guitar player. Well, I love Pete Townsend, but I never considered him a great lead player. I think his strength was in rhythm guitar and a great songwriter. But for me, I would say Jimmy Page was probably number one for me growing up. I really loved his playing, his attitude, the look, like everything about him was something that I wanted to emulate. But of course, Hendrix was incredible, but I never felt like I wanted to emulate his playing. I thought he was so unique and so different and so excellent and so difficult to copy that I thought I'd just leave that one alone. But Alvin Lee back then in that time in the early 70s.
Yeah.
Later on, Steve Hackett from Genesis, always loved his playing. Again, in the context of a band, he really serviced the music well as the guitarist.
Was Jeff Beck an influence?
Oh my God, yeah. Yeah, from the very, very beginning, from when I first started playing guitar, when he was in the Yardbirds. We used to play a few Yardbird songs when we were just starting out, when we were 13 years old.
Oh, there we go. Part one. Cool. Yeah. Now we're talking, because like Andy Summers and like U2, yeah, I'm like, that's not like, when you're talking about influences, you're thinking of like people who he like was listening to when he started playing when he was 12 or 13 or whatever. It's like, yeah, who were the people when you were 12, 13, 14 listening to? You weren't listening to Andy Summers and U2. You were listening to Jeff Beck. You know, you were listening to other earlier people. That's cool. Okay, so this guy's got an apartment probably in Toronto or something. And he's got probably a house somewhere. I mean, he's probably, these guys. I was just surprised at first, like, wait a minute, apartment? What? Why don't you own that? Oh, because Canadian house prices are ridiculous, even for Alex. Damn, he didn't get in early. Well, maybe it'll come around. Maybe it won't. Who knows? Anyways, very cool. Some guitar heads and amps over there that I can see. This is all guitar player stuff, so I don't really know it. Looks like he's got his Lurks guitar. I love that freaking white one in the back. So it sounds like he auctioned off a lot of his guitars. So I imagine he auctioned off a lot of like the guitars that we were seeing him play during Rush. I imagine. Maybe not. I mean, how could I can't. I don't know. I'm like, you didn't keep any? Like, you had, like, really? You had to have. Like, how could you get rid of? I don't know. I just feel like that would be so important to, like, have, I don't know, like, yeah, the guitar that you used on, Permanent Waves recordings or moving pictures recordings, I'd probably get rid of those. I'd be all right with that. But the permanent waves ones, it's like, yeah, no, I'm going to keep those. I'm not going to auction these off. You guys can wait until I'm dead. Anyways, very cool. This is a nice little candid interview deal with a little bit of playing. I think we're going to get into more playing later on as it goes, which will be cool. But yeah, nice. All right, again, do not forget, if you want this guitar, the giveaway, make sure you email me at jpanreadsemail@gmail.com. Subject line, blah, blah, blah. Name, email address. Oh God, I didn't mention it yet. 1 entry per person. 1 entry per person. Do not email me 20 times. Once. That's all I need. Just once. Okay? Just once. And you have 5 days. I'm announcing who's winning on the 24th, 8:30 video. So you have until the 23rd to get it into me. Get it as early as possible. Just don't even wait. Don't wait. Because if you email me on the 23rd at like 8 p.m., it may not be in time. So make sure that you just get it in now. Just do it right now. You're watching this, just do it right now. All right, anyways, thank you guys. I'll catch you in the next video.